Well, actually, we have quite a few actions to support the resilience of the regional and the national textile industry. I can talk about two different examples. The first one is more about the supports we have at the regional level. We work to facilitate the international outreach of our network, and more specifically to facilitate and support the business development of textile SMEs in their different applicative markets, that is in Europe, but also outside of Europe. We also are involved in several European and international networks and projects that support us in having a better impact on the industry. Another example I can give for the regional support is the support for the reshoring of activities for textile companies in order to bring back production in the region to have more independent textile industry in the region, but also in France and in Europe. We also have actions on the national level in order to improve the resilience of the industry. For example, in 2020, during the pandemic, we were involved in the national action to support the textile companies in order to deal with the effects of the pandemic, and more specifically to adapt the industry, the production, the supply chain, in order to produce masks to answer a new need, and also to develop a new skills and to reintroduce know-hows in the textile industry. So for this point, I will also give you two examples, one at a regional level and one at the European level. So at the regional level, we created a couple of years ago, 5 years ago actually, what we call a club that gathers different members of our network, so companies, research centers, universities, etc. And all of these organizations are interested to work together on a long term on the topic of recycling and circular economy in the textile industry. So it was obvious that this topic could not be dealt with on a short term, but only on a long term. And for that, we needed a framework to welcome all of these organizations together and to build collaborations and different sorts of collaboration. We already have one success story for this initiative. It is a collaborative project in France that involves the construction and the implementation of a textile recycling facility in the region. Another example is Horizon Europe project that started in April 2022. This project is called MC4, and Techtera is the dissemination manager of this project. So it's a project that focuses on the value chains of composites made of carbon and glass fibers. And we identified two issues with these value chains. The first one was that the environmental impact of the value chain was very strong. One example is that 98% of the products made from this sort of composites just end up in landfills at the end of their lives. So it's a lot of material. It's a loss of materials, and it's also a very strong environmental impact. We wanted to limit that. And the second thing that we identified was that Europe was far from being independent regarding the supply of the materials. materials, but also regarding the implementation of the processes, as the licenses that we use for manufacturing are often coming from foreign companies. So the idea of the project is to develop recycling processes for composites made of carbon and glass fibers, to develop these processes, to patent them in Europe, in order to have on our territory the knowledge to use these processes, and also the right and the ownership to these processes. And the second impact will be to have more sovereignty for the European Union regarding the supply of raw materials for this composite, and also to have an impact that is way lower on the environment.